If you're looking for some straight-up marketing advice that's super chilled and also a bit of a laugh, then grab yourself a drink and get ready for Marketing and Margaritas, a podcast that makes marketing entertaining. Brought to you by Rebel Nation, direct from regional Queensland.
Hello and welcome to Marketing and Margaritas. Today we are talking marketing in the retail sector with Berta, the marketing manager from Mount Pleasant Centre. Thanks for joining us, Berta.
Thanks for having me.
Anytime.
Cool. So obviously we just said about where you work and what you do there. I guess, yes, you're the marketing manager, but for Mount Pleasant Centre, what does that actually entail? Like what are some of the things that you do each week out there? Doing well already.
Role is really varied. So it's not only looking at all of our retailers and making sure that they're represented on our pages and website and that we're getting their name out there, but it's also creating events and experiences in the centre to get more people to come to us and enjoy themselves while they're there.
Awesome. So it's like getting people in and then also representing what you have there out sort of thing.
Exactly right.
Yeah, okay, cool. And so do you have any previous retail experience? Like did you come from the retail industry yourself?
So I didn't, except, my first job was in retail, but that was a very long time ago.
Dude, I still think it counts. I think everyone at some stage should have a stint in retail.
Retail or hospitality.
Yeah, I think just to understand what it's like being on the other side of that kind of service industry, and that just how you treat people, etc.
Very
like it's
so.
I think everyone should
customer
do it.
service. But I have well over 18 years of marketing experience. Not fresh off the boat. But
so what you were doing before you were out Mount P?
So I worked mostly in the financial services sector.
Oh, okay.
As well as not for profit.
I had to think for a moment. I'm like, I didn't know that, did I? No, I didn't know
that.
No.
If you can market financial services products, you can market anything.
Oh man, be so much less restrictions and stuff for you than like financial services. You have to be so careful. My first post-grad job was a marketing assistant at a bank.
Oh, yeah.
And so it was like they had their head office here and then we had like 40 other branches or whatever through the state and stuff sort of thing. But just everything. One of my first jobs was actually proofing and putting together the FSG, like their financial services guide.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, as a newbie marketing assistant, that's what, because obviously my marketing manager was like, oh, great, assistant. Poof, that's now for you to do. It was horrid.
Yeah, of all the things to throw you in the deep end on,
I love her though, but I thought that was particularly difficult.
Yeah, fun. Yeah, no, I never had to write an FSG or proof it, luckily, but plenty of emails and mailing lists and, all that privacy stuff that you always got to be careful about in marketing in general, so... But it was good times.
So how does it feel being in retail then?
Oh, I love it so much.
Yeah, that'd be so much fun, man. I think you could, marketing anything that you can find the fun in it sort of thing. Like marketing is a fun profession.
Absolutely.
Overall sort of thing. But with retail, like your creativity and stuff like that, like there would just be so much more scope on what you can do.
Absolutely. So much less restrictive. So, and... I mean, Mackay being Mackay, the type of people that we have here, it's trying to find that what they like and you can't have the same thing here that you'd, say, have in Brisbane or in Sydney. So,
you know your market and what they're looking for, man.
Absolutely.
And you have so many seasonal trends that you can pick up on and retail is a fun space to work in because it's always changing too.
And,
you know what they have?
Kmart.
Why do you think I asked Berta? I haven't been allowed to bring up Kmart for a long time, but I have legit reasons to bring up Kmart
That's it. Yeah, we love Kmart. It's so much fun.
Everyone loves Kmart.
We went and filmed there because we do obviously videos for socials and things like that. Yeah. And the people were like, oh, you those influencers from thing, and I'm like, no, I just work in
just a cinema.
I mean, total influencer here. Fine, remember this face. Give me free name.
If you want to give me your products, I'll go try it out for sure.
It. But no, it's heaps of fun. So, and we get to have fun with it. I think the great thing about our centre is we have a personality, right? So it's not. We're not stuck up. We're a community centre, and people have seen me trying on different low shirts on our social media. So that's the kind of centre we are.
That's what, because I actually grew up in Lachlan Street, so it's basically just down the street from Mount P. So when I was a kid, Mount P was like one level, and it was our corner store. So like I would walk down to Mount P with like no shoes on after school and stuff like that. And then when it all got built up, and we would like go across, and Mum would like crack shits at us because it was like a proper. She always kind of crack shits a little bit about the no shoes thing. But once it was like actually like a shopping centre sort of thing, but. Yes, it was just like the corner store, except it happened to be a shopping centre.
It was great. We posted a picture of the centre back from 1981, and all these people had like the greatest memories of, first jobs and, dates and like weird things.
I worked at Kmart.
So there you go. So fond memories as well.
Yes, fond memories.
Awesome. No, well, that's fantastic. So what we brought you in was not to reminisce, but
it was to talk about Kmart. All right, thanks for tuning in. And, that's pretty much
done.
it.
That's right.
Yeah. Hope you enjoyed yourself.
Yeah, thanks.
well, can we just PS retail marketing?
Oh yeah.
Thanks, ladies. Okay.
Go for it.
Okay, so retail marketing. What are your main goals? What do you focus on? It seems like you would have a lot, being that you have such broad audiences and stakeholders with Mount P Centre. So how do you do all that?
I mean, ultimately, it's our retailers and driving sales.
Yeah.
Right. So driving traffic into the centre, and then converting that by creating great experiences to make them A, stay, and B, come back.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the main one, but it's also about community. So our biggest thing is supporting local charity groups and things that stay local. So differentiating us in that little way, while again making that another way for people to come in. Like we had a pet adoption day. So to get people to come into centre and help, not only help the animals and the charity, but also helps get people into the centre.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, like, when I think of Mount P, that brand to me is that more kind of that community, family sort of. It's not like slow paced isn't the word I'm thinking of, but it's more like relaxed. It's more chill sort of thing. And I think too, because it's just like that big circle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just really easy to, because you go to some shopping centres and stuff, and it's like I have no fucking idea where I came in, let alone where to go out. To be fair, I still forget where I park all the time, which is just like a habit of mine in general. And like, was it that row or that row? And then I've got like a red car, so like normally that helps a little bit, but it's a real problem. That's what Taryn used to be really good for. He always knew where the car was parked when he was little.
I have a story that is not for today about losing my car. So yeah, it happens to all of us.
But yeah, I just think like it's a really kind of chill, cruisy place to sort of like, you still have all of your necessities and everything that you need there.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, it's kind of, walking around there isn't sort of, I don't feel like I'm on a mission.
No.
You know what I mean? Like a lot of the time when I go shopping, I'm like, all right, I'm going to go in, I'm going to get this, and I literally walk around with like my list and stuff and like this and this and this I'm doing, so I don't forget things and rah. Whereas Mount P to me is a little bit more of like a stroll.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm walking over there and I see this and stuff, and I'll be, Kmart. I totally forgot about Kmart.
Yeah.
I'll totally go into that sort of thing.
That's it. I need something from there.
Yeah. And that $7 fucking bookstore that is like half the time out front as well. Man, that shit is dangerous.
Yeah.
And then you come back and it's like $3 and you're like, well, now I really have to get more because you already bought some the first time.
That's it.
Anyway, maybe that's just me as a consumer.
That's
I'm very easy to sell to.
That's the great thing about our space too, is we have plenty of room for pop-ups. So you're not only supporting your Kmarts, but you're also supporting the local mum and dads.
Those little ones and stuff.
For obviously a fraction of the price, if they can't afford to own a shop and fit it out because, it's not cheap.
And that's the thing too, though, from like a marketing perspective as well, is that you're potentially bringing in a whole different kind of, customer base there as well. That is, getting to try out those different sorts of stores. And I think it's those things as like people like to support their friend, neighbor, cousin, whatever sort of thing as well. So it's like, they go, I'll go over there because blah, blah's there and stuff. Yeah. So supporting those local people does kind of feed into, those overall goals and stuff anyway.
Absolutely.
And I like that because I think that we have a lot of those similar goals, like, for us kind of thing with Rebel. It's like, yes, we are definitely here to make money. It's a business. I wish that the staff would just work for my good humour, but apparently cracking at jokes isn't good enough. They need money and stuff as well. So making money is like really important, but at the same time being able to do stuff for your community and be in a position to give back more and everything.
Yeah.
It's, that actually is one of our goals as well. Like it's not just feel good. It's like, it's important. If you're getting, you should be giving,
And
P.S. It's live.
And little things like we have a Containers for Change program. So, what people may not know is all the cans and bottles are recycled, and we then, when we get to about $1,000, we give that to a local charity.
Oh, that's awesome. That's so cool.
So, it's little things like that. Like, you're right. It's a business at the end of the day, but it's also about giving back. And our landlords are very much about that, like giving back to our community and making sure people understand who we are and what we stand for.
And not every brand is like that. Not every brand has to be community oriented, but I know, like, to me, that's part of, and it's not just because I grew up down the street, but it is like Mount P is that more community kind of shopping centre and stuff. And like a friend of mine, her and her mum have like their little book library thing at Mount P as well.
Oh, yes.
So
right outside our office, yes.
Yeah, so those kind of things, like that's something that it's difficult for them to get into other areas and stuff, whereas for Mount P, they've been really welcomed. So,
absolutely.
and that's, again, it's just that community aspect.
Yeah.
So, okay, so your goals are obviously, like we said, about getting sales in and then getting that offering out. When you're working out your marketing strategy, what are those steps that you go through?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, it's knowing our audience, right? Mm-hmm. So knowing who's coming to shop, who we want to come and shop, and
where those gaps maybe are, what customer base you're not potentially getting at the time.
And how to, because again, I guess, the size of Mount P, we're not going to have a million shops in there. So we want to make sure we're catering for as many people as we can. So that's where the pop-ups and things like that come into play.
Yeah, it gives you a little bit of variety and stuff like that as well.
That's it. And essentially, knowing what the first is, the second thing is knowing our goal and working out how we're going to get there. So, is it through a shop? Is it through an event? Is it through, a multitude of different things? And it's just taking those steps to get to that end goal.
So when you're trying to get different people in the store, are you trying to get everyone all at once, or you're focusing on you've got different style events, you've got different themes, you've got different pop-ups? Like, obviously, any business goes, everyone's my audience. But we know that's not the case, and you can't think that way all the time. No. So how do you get around that?
I mean, for me, segmentation is my favourite word.
Dreamy.
Yeah.
Is that like seasonally or dates-wise, or like as part of the shops?
Bit of both.
Yeah.
So I guess like school holidays, right? You know that your audience is going to be kids, right? Mums with kids, grandparents with kids.
They need something to do.
They need something to
Crazy,
do, right?
grimy little gross kids.
That's it. Get them out of the house.
There's
let the shopping centre take care of it.
Stay out of the shopping centre during school holidays.
holidays.
Not your kids. Your kids are lovely.
Yeah. That's it. Present company excluded. So it's then going, okay, well, how do we get our message up to them?
Yeah.
Where are they likely going to see things? Is it posters in the shopping centre? Is it going to be on Facebook, Instagram? Is an email mail out going to be the way to contact them? And then, just working out, okay, well, we know that our main audience comes from Facebook. Mm-hmm. So then we go, okay, we'll put some money behind some Facebook advertising, and we'll segment, our target audience based on age or demographic, and sponsor the ads based on that way.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, you're on this particular demo, so therefore these stores or these promotions or whatever are more likely to appeal to you. Correct. This ad is targeted towards these people with these. And that's why I think, like, when people think about strategy, like, it sounds like this big daunting thing. Strategy just means thinking. You've just thought about it. And chances are it's stuff that you already know, or you might instinctively do a lot of the time with your business. But when you actually just think about it and write down that plan, again, what am I trying to achieve? Who are the people that I'm trying to appeal to? Where do they hang out? What appeals to them? And then bring it all together. That's literally what we do for marketing strategies. And then, again, using your data and analyzing and stuff and going, okay, cool. So, I've done these activities. that's a great first step. But now I'm actually going back and going, oh, okay, I'm getting a lot of traffic from Facebook. Therefore, as well as my time, I'm also going to put some money behind it.
Yeah.
You know, I think because we get people come up to us and they're like, oh, should I do radio? I need a Facebook page. Should we have an Insta store? All this kind of stuff. And it's like, that's not the starting point.
Yeah, take a few steps back.
Starting point, man.
Yeah. I mean, little things like, you know, setting up a Google My Business, you know, like claiming your space.
We actually just did a podcast on that recently.
Yeah.
Actually, I think that comes out this week, as in the week that this is being recorded.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, because, yeah, like little, you know, things like that. And I think people have to understand, especially like your mums and dads, give it a try. Yeah. Like, it may not be perfect first time around.
It'll probably never, what is ever perfect the first time? You know what I mean? If you get something and it's like 60% of the way there, coolio, keep going.
That's
you know what I
it.
mean? Keep tweaking and improving and stuff until you've got something that's like an amazing pipeline that just works for you.
Yeah. Even after 19.
Sorry, I get really passionate and I'm like, shut up, Jade. It's not you. It's Berta.
No, it's
okay?
It's all right. But that's the thing. Even after 19 years, I'm still learning.
Yeah.
You know what I
That's
mean?
what's so cool about marketing.
Yeah, there's
And
always
the
something
digital
new.
space is changing all the time. Yeah, Facebook updates. Gotta love them.
Dude, something was glitching today. We were trying to like do a Facebook ad proof for a client and the thing wouldn't, like the link wouldn't show up or whatever, and so I just shutted everything down and then opened again and then all the options were there and it's just like, just why wasn't it there before?
Yeah.
Because Facebook.
Because Facebook. Yeah. And let's change where to find what I'm looking for.
Yeah, that's really fun when you're training people and you go to, and like, okay, and you click this. Nope, hold on a minute, it's moved. Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Oh, look, it's over here now. Okay, so over here.
Oh, but look, your screen's got it totally different.
Yeah.
You can't find it? Here's my handy dandy assistant who's going to come over and help you while I keep going. Oh, dude, it's you need to be quick on your toes when it comes to training.
Yes. It's just changing all the time. And you can, just keep trying.
What do you find at the moment is where, like, I know obviously Mount Pleasant Centre is like a big retail experience versus like someone who has a single store.
Yeah.
But in your experience for the store at the moment, like what is working in retail marketing?
Same principle still applies, I think, just on a smaller scale. Yeah. I think digital is the way to go for majority.
Yeah.
The bang for your buck that you get on that versus other channels. Not that I'm knocking any other channels.
That's the same thing. We always sound like we're bagging out like other
really
things, whatever.
not.
It's like, no, because we still use all of those things where they fit in. We just
conjunction
happen to
with-
love digital because it's like, oh, look at all this data I have. Look at the leads I can collect without having to do anything. You
That's
know what I mean?
right.
It's just so much easier.
It's a lot easier to qualify and quantify. You know, when you're reporting to someone, like I guess if it's your own business, you're not necessarily reporting to anyone except yourself.
You're reporting to yourself.
That's it.
But you are still checking your
That's it.
analytics.
You check-
Everyone checks their analytics all the time. I am no doubt.
And if they're not, there should be. But yeah, it's hard, you know. I think too with digital, the greatest thing is it's so you can change it,
Yeah.
right? So in my game, things
That
change
flexibility.
all the time. Like I have an event, next minute sold out. All of a sudden, I need to change all my messaging.
Yeah.
If it's a print ad, well, what do I do? Like it's 6 weeks later that it goes to print, and all of a sudden that information.
So true, man. Like, P.S., our head office just said we've got this big sale happening this weekend. Oh, great. Like, how else are you going to get it out there super quick? Like, how else are you going to get it out that afternoon?
Yeah.
You know, like, we have people come to us and they're like, because they're so used to traditional advertising, and they're like, okay, you know, we're trying to hire for this role and stuff like that, and how soon do you need the stuff, and how soon can we get it? And I said, look, if I had nothing else on in the afternoon, if you give the stuff to me, I'd do it for you that afternoon. Like, I never don't have anything on in the afternoon, but, like, that's literally just how quick it is.
It's instant, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well,
and if you need to change something, again, it's not like, you know, like if it was a TV ad, you need to stop the airtime.
Or a print ad. I've literally had a newspaper in front of me and a client on the phone going, my ad's wrong, I need you to change it. And they're looking at it on the other end of the phone. And I'm going,
I've had that too. Like, how do you think this is going to happen?
yeah, I'm like, do I need to go collect 32,000 print publications for the week? Like, I'm sorry, you missed the boat.
Yeah. And that's the
We used to
thing.
get that at rep. Oh my God.
Oh,
so
yeah.
funny.
Or you go, oh no, there's a typo.
Yeah.
Bugger.
Yeah, people would literally be asking, is there anything we can do about it? And it's like, well, do you see how it's sitting right in front of you?
Yeah.
Everyone else has it
Everyone else
too.
has the
I
same
can't
thing.
go around and liquid paper it for everyone.
Yeah. can everyone contact me that has this? I'm just going to come around in liquid paper and rewrite. Like this price is wrong. Like, so I think that's the thing about digital. If you're like, oh bugger, I've put, a 9 instead of a 5, I'll just quickly go in.
2 seconds to change that.
And it's done.
Yeah. Or like you said, some things now sold out. Cool. That $500 I put on for a month on that ad, I can turn that off early and that money's still mine.
Yeah.
There's not
Please pause my ad.
But it is. There's just so much less excess and everything in that way too. And I think, obviously digital marketing, like you can hire people to do digital marketing for you. But there's so much that people can do themselves too. You know what I mean? Like I just think it's accessible too.
It's so accessible. I know people I love digital. I know people in the centre who, are learning how to do it, and they're, a small business who have their one store and that's their entire world. And, just teaching them like little steps of, well, have you tried this? And how about you try this? And do you know that you can get a whole new audience by doing this?
Yeah. And when it's your own business, there's already so much to do and think about. Like, it's a lot.
Yeah. And like I always say, like, try this, see how it works, test, like tweak it, etc. like that. But I get that it can be a lot when you're also doing 50 million other things. Because I'm the same. Like, don't look at our marketing. I don't think there's any. I know Hayley posts on our socials now, but like other than that, like it would, it just doesn't happen otherwise. Yeah. But yeah, like it is easy to go back and check things and review and improve it. But again, having that time can be difficult sort of thing too. Yeah. So I do get that. But yeah, the opportunity's there. So you said at the moment, Facebook is kind of like...
Facebook's our main where we find we get the most traction.
Are you on other platforms?
Instagram.
Yeah.
And just Google. That's it.
Yeah.
So there's no Mount P YouTube yet?
No one
We're not getting you on TikTok.
No. I said I've done my one dancing video for the centre, and that about it. But
I've reached my quota. It was one.
Yeah, I just don't like for us at the moment. It's not necessary.
Yeah,
it's not our target audience.
I love actually hearing that from someone rather than going, oh, we're going to be here and we're going to do this and we're going to try that.
Oh, it's really great. Should be on. I've been hearing everyone's been doing that.
It's great to try things, but there's no should be anywhere.
No.
It's what works for you and working that out.
And that's the thing, if it's working really well and you guys are focusing on it, putting out time and effort and energy into it, that's going to get you way better return than spreading, because you're still only you.
Yeah, that's it.
Spreading yourself across and going, okay, now we're trying to do this and this and this.
It just dilutes it, I think.
And then, yeah, exactly, you're taking your focus off what you know was already working as well. And there's nothing wrong with, just because Facebook is like, a super traditional, which sounds weird in the world.
You're making me feel so old right now, Jane.
I feel old when I say Facebook traditional, but you know what I mean. Like, these are the most traditional ones. But as far as, Australia goes, it's got the highest penetration. As far as regional areas go, it's by far that, not only the amount of people, but the amount of time they spend on there, the amount of time they check in.
And your audience age bracket, like all of those things taken into consideration.
That's exactly right.
It's a great space for you.
Yeah, rather than kind of going, okay, I'm going to go on TikTok. Well, why?
Yeah.
And it's not only the time, but it's the cost of producing videos and not just putting something on there for the sake of putting it on there. It has to be quality content.
Just preaching to the choir. Love it.
Yeah.
She's so vibing with you right now.
But I'm not a believer of doing things for the sake of doing it. There has to be a reason.
And that's pretty much what we preach as well. It's like there always needs to be a purpose behind something. Like trying something out is still a purpose. It still has a meaning. It's whatever like that. But just doing something because you think you should, or because someone said you should,
because old mate down the road is doing it.
Whatever. Yeah, exactly. Like, and I think, for example, with TikTok, it's like people are like, oh, you can get so much reach and so much engagement and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, but is it your audience? Are you just pandering to your ego? Or are you actually doing something that's going to drive business? Because again, like running a business is super fun and you can do a lot of things and it's really creative and that sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, you do have to like pay people. Even if it's just paying yourself, like getting money in the door is kind of like one of the main reasons why we're in the trade sort of thing.
And honestly, most people who run a business, are they likely to be able to produce their own TikToks and like professionally?
If they wanted to. Yeah.
It's not the easiest, right?
And is that the thing to learn and get good at? If your audience isn't there, if you're reaching 50 million people in Asia and you're a local store. Like it's just pointless sort of thing. And I think people get caught up in those vanity metrics and stuff. And it's like when people buy likes, you know what I mean? And you're just like, dude, you're doing yourself an actual disservice. You know what I mean? Because if I go to your page and I see that you have 10,000 likes and the only person who's interacted with your content is you for like the past week, that looks even more pathetic.
Correct. Yeah. And it's
not that I'm thinking of anyone in particular right now. You know who I'm thinking of.
But it's interaction. It's ongoing interactions. It's not having a number that just sits there and go, oh, wow, they must be popular. It's like, no, we'll look at each post and go, oh, hang on, there's only one like on every post. Like, what? So are you actually reaching?
And the conversations that it generates too. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, we had an Insta conversation with someone the other day about we got a workshop on at the moment and they couldn't make it, so we talked about training and stuff. So like that post, she didn't comment or like it or anything like that, but she had messaged behind the scenes, and we've made she's now signed on for 3 different training sessions with us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like that brought in business through one Instagram post, but it's because we've been posting stuff and Hayley's been posting stuff and she's been following it and stuff. That brought in business. That's what matters, not the fact of you have X amount of people following you. It's how many people are actually engaging with you and buying from you or considering buying from you.
Yeah, and that's it. Yeah, you know, that the amount of people, like, I don't know about you guys, but I'll scroll and I won't necessarily like every single post, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes I like exclusively try to do that on a scroll. I'm like, right, I haven't been engaging with anyone for a moment. And I'll realize like people have dropped out or businesses have dropped out of my algorithms. I'm like, where is that? And so I'll go back and start liking stuff. I'm like, stay in my feed.
My most annoying one is council. So like we've all worked at council. So I was, like, when I was at council...
I never saw it. I worked social medias.
When I was at council, I had it in my feed all of the time.
Yeah.
I left council. It dropped out of my feed. Every now and then, I go to the council page and purposely interact with stuff.
Yeah.
I might see something once a month, and I know they post, like a
5 to 7 times a day.
Yeah.
For some reason, Facebook's just like, I don't care, Jade, that you're interested in them. You just, you left... Yeah. And that's all you get.
Yeah, that's it. They've wiped their hair.
Basically. I'm like, well, as a business, I think it's useful to know to know what the council is doing and stuff, because it could be things that we could leverage for our clients, but I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
Might actually have to make more of an effort, and that's what Facebook is for, is to bring stuff to me.
Look, I think we just need to email Facebook and tell them what we want and when we want it.
Yeah, change the algorithm again.
Speaking of things that are annoying, so what's not working at the moment in retail, or is there anything that you guys used to do that you don't do anymore because, you know, traction dropped off or anything like that?
So we used to do print. Back in the day.
As in your own magazine, or you advertise?
Advertise in local
publications.
But it's just too hard. Like I said, you know,
for how quickly your stuff changes and those deadlines and stuff.
You know, we need to have something, you know, 6 to 10 weeks out of a thing, and that's not always possible.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, say for example, I advertised a Halloween event. Well, someone's going, oh, awesome, and try and look it up and sold out. You know, and so that's wasted.
But it's also, I suppose, potentially damaging the brand then too. Right. If it's like, oh, I saw this advertised, oh, they're sold out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's a little bit of negativity there sort of thing. Yeah. Because people don't know.
Yeah.
They have no idea what is happening behind the scenes and how long ago that was and all that kind of stuff.
Right. They don't realise that lead times are as long as they are.
Yeah, why would they even advertise it still if it's not on?
Right.
I've heard people literally say that, and I'm just like, you do realise, no, they don't realise.
No, they don't.
Get off my soapbox.
And then for me too, you can't quantify print, and someone can't, and it's ease of use, right? Yeah. So you see something online, click for more information, and
book
they're there,
tickets, it's
right?
done.
Print, www, you know, and then people go, oh, too hard.
Yeah.
And you can't put a bit.ly link on a print ad because that just looks weird.
We've got your QR codes now. We are kind of used to scanning and stuff like that as well.
Yeah.
It's only taken us, a decade to get used to.
If
COVID
hadn't happened, it would have died in the ass.
Yeah.
It was dying in the ass.
It was dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically. Whereas it has made it revive. I saw an email the other day with the QR code in it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you realize I'm looking at the email on my phone.
Yeah.
I can't scan the QR code with my phone when I'm looking at the email on my phone. Like, where do you think your traffic is coming from, people?
Yeah. That's
Sorry.
in an email.
I know.
Okay.
It was funny.
Did you reply to them for some feedback?
Yeah.
I would have done the same thing.
I told them.
Hey, did you know? So yes, that's that. We kind of have moved away purely because between cost and feasibility, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I think sometimes with those traditional mediums too, it's sort of like the audience there is definitely not what it was, say, 10 years ago, but the prices haven't reflected that either.
No.
You know what I mean? So it's still the same cost to place ads in different places.
Well, if anything,
but they
it's
don't
still
have the same
it
people.
costs more to do with that kind of material now for them, so it's understandable
That they're keeping it the same. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just that for the advertiser, they're not getting the same
No.
bang for their buck.
And they
because
can
people are streaming or scrolling and whatever instead of actually physically going out and grabbing something or turning on free to air.
And they can say, well, we print 32,000 copies, but is it likely that
How do you
32,000
read
people, A, have picked that up, B, have seen your ad, and how many of those are actually going to then do something with it?
Yeah.
Right? Whereas, at least with digital, you can quantify it. You can go, okay, well, I can see that 50 people clicked on that link, or, okay, I need to, do something else.
You need to tweak and work on it. Yeah. Awesome. Alrighty, well that's some awesome tips we've got from you today on retail marketing. Did you have anything else before we wrap it up?
I actually have one question that kind of just came up. Like, I know we're talking about how you differentiate yourself, etc., but I think the step before that is figuring out what your point of difference is. And I think that that's something that a lot of people struggle with in that, how we were saying before about how people think, oh, everyone's my audience.
Yeah.
I think part of that comes from actually not knowing what your value is to people. Yeah, I think that's kind of the first thing you need to figure out is your value proposition. So for you, like, what is that process, or how do you guys help identify what is your point of difference in the market?
I mean, our key thing is not trying to compete with every other shopping centre in Australia.
Yeah.
Right? We're never going to, and we don't want to. And so it's realising that, okay, who is my audience? Number one, who is my audience? Who do I want here? Who is going to get the most value out of my business? And therefore, I'll get value out of them and in terms of
what
repeat.
they're looking for, like, I think that's that point of differentiation is going, different people look for different things.
Yeah.
So if this is the audience that you're chasing.
That's right.
What is it that they want?
And I think that works on a smaller scale too.
Yeah.
So, your mum and dad isn't going to compete with your large multinational organisation. And so it's understanding that and going, okay, well, how can I differentiate myself from someone up the road and make that message. And it's about the consistency in messaging, right? So it's not only saying it once, what's the old marketing rule? They'll see it 3 times until it sinks in type thing.
I think the latest Google research was like it takes... Oh, shit, now I can't remember. It was either like 11 or 17, which is a big disparity.
Gosh. It used to be 3. What's going on?
It's a certain amount of touch points because
we're so saturated with information these days.
I was going to say, the amount of data that we used to consume might be like
a TV ad, a press ad, a radio, a
billboard. Whereas now we're basically being fed information as soon as we wake up and check, turn our alarm off.
Things are literally flashing at us for attention.
Yeah, so that's why it's more touch points because we have more to filter through.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Exactly. And so, having that consistent messaging, eventually it'll sink in. Oh, that's right. Or, that's right, I remember seeing something. And, and that's how you get them.
Or you just put up Kmart everywhere. Kmart is here with big
there
neon
are other
sign.
shops at Mount P, Jade.
Yeah.
There are other shops at Mount P.
We do have 70 specialty retailers, but yes,
really?
Kmart,
Kmart.
But I love what you said about in layman's terms, not focusing on your competitors, not trying to be someone else. You're being authentic to yourself.
Play your own game too,
yeah.
man. It's so much more fun just focusing on your own shit rather than trying
what
to
you can do better for yourself.
someone.
Yeah, that's right.
Because otherwise you're just going to bash your head against a brick wall and get frustrated. Yeah, and you'll never feel that you're doing the right thing because...
That's it. You're making the game about them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're following someone else and seeing what they do and then trying
And replicate it.
outcutting them, whatever. Whereas going, oh, our audience is really responding to this. Let's do more of that. Oh, maybe we could do this, and they might like it too, because it's like.
There's definitely two tunnels people can go down with business, and I like the one that you guys are heading down.
Yeah.
Anyway, so if you had one wrap-up tip for us to take away for us to all remember, or that you've been bashing on about already,
Yes.
now's the time to drive it home. What have you got?
Run your own race.
Yeah.
You know, do what is going to be best for your business. Don't worry about anyone else.
Yeah. So sit down, have that strategy, work out what that is,
Yeah.
and then hone in on those goals.
Exactly right.
Fabulous.
Amen. Love it.
Thanks.
Thanks so much for doing this,
Thanks for
Berta. I
coming
really
on.
appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. It's been great.
Was it as bad as you thought it would be?
It was actually a lot easier than I thought.
told you.
So, I didn't have to check my notes 1,000 times.
And that's the thing I find, like, I more look at my notes to make sure I don't forget anything.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like, you actually do know what you're talking about, so it's not like you need to read it.
No, but you know, every now and then you're right. It's like, oh, did I mention that one thing that I really wanted to mention? Yes, I did.
Well, I think you did very well.
Thank you
I
so
think that was
much.
really good.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us, Berta.
Thanks for having me.
Anytime.
Awesome.
Cheers.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Marketing and Margaritas. Find more free marketing tips, tricks, and laughs at rebelnation.com.au.